And so my name is Goshorn. I'm with Mapping Your Marketing, and we have done this online thing for a long time. Now we're helping people at a strategic level do the most important things. You can see some of my topics down at the bottom, reputation, social, traffic, funnels, and automation. All that's propped up by video that I taught last year here in Tech Corner. This year, AI is hard to ignore. It is everywhere. So we're covering it and giving you guys like an inside track. So first start talking about ChatGPT. Well, that's just the newest sweetheart. Today we're going to go into some of the alternatives that were before and since, and some of the other uses, how to put this to work. And then later on, we're going to have another session on like the hiccups and the possible pitfalls and the do not do's. ChatGPT was all the talk for the last 3 months. Well, then 6 months before that, Jasper was all the talk, right? And they're still in my, their ads in my my Facebook feeds and stuff like that. And so then and we're doing a real high level look at stuff in this few minutes that we have. So then we start thinking about, well, who else is out there, right? So Microsoft, right? They came out with one. Google came out with Bard, right? Chat GPT has a $20 and a $42 tiers now. I think that they do a lot of it. A lot of it's a freemium model, or you just build a user base. I mean, and it worked. They were like the fastest app ever to 100 million users. Microsoft, is in it. And of course, everybody's trying to get to it. This Google, everybody thinks, oh, Google's way behind. Well, actually, Google's been doing AI for a long, long time, right? They've been using it, a lot of it in-house. So they're not really catching up as most of some of the world thinks. But been underwhelming. There's, of course, the ugly stories make the biggest news, right? So when it fails, that's something, when the Microsoft one fails, that comes out. These creepy answers, right? Here's the one we've been talking about, more focused on business, right? And with that other feature set, right? You've got chat and an extension and SEO, and like you said, you like building lists, right? And then this one make a couple of these other ones make the list, right? As a slim down version. And Chat Sonic, I see a lot of talk about that. Again, most of them have a freemium, free trial to a paid level. And that's kind of maybe the big five, I guess. And when we start talking about this list has, 22. And it's real current, right? This is from a couple days ago.
Right.
We're going to start seeing some of the same players, right?
Yeah.
Why go for an alternative? You can't get in. It doesn't do some stuff. Chat Sonic. We just kind of talked about that, and that is mostly like a lot of content creation, and there's so many diverse things that these AI can do, right? But I think what people love about it is the creation part, and there's the mixed feelings. Some people think it's gonna put everybody out of business. Like the top copywriters I know, they're embracing it. The naive in the world just go do something on ChatGPT and then copy and paste it out in the world. Well, that's an absolute fail. Like you're so going to get marked, for spam or plagiarism, and not good. But the good way to use it is for ideation, right? Then take that idea. The Chat Sonic is good for content. And there's some depth in this. I'll share this link with everybody, right? And so they'd love to talk about a lot of that. Then we dig into Jasper, and you can post them. A lot of these have earlier names, right? And
Right.
the one of the top ones, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then of course the chat kind of came out. I think recently as kind of an answer, right, to this right here, ChatGPT like interface. Because it's a little bit, it's like you said, it's more in depth. It's more than just I don't know, the kind of simplistic environment that the ChatGPT is, right?
Yeah.
And then here we are. Here comes Google into the game, which is their newest thing. And they talk about some of that stuff in here. There's a lot of head to head, but really, this is what we want to get techie and under the hood. This sort of like language model for dialogue applications is what most all of this is, right? Like they're taking your query and they're going out into their data set, right? And then bringing
Right.
back um, uh, dialogues and conversations and ideas, but it's all out of that language model. And they get stuff wrong a lot. The facts are wrong. Even like I said, Sam Altman talks about it's don't rely on ChatGPT because we've done tests like, oh, give me the neighborhoods in this part of the city, right? And it comes back with 13 of them. Well, there's like three, like they just have like shopping centers that have like that name, right? Or other stuff. So you've got to really check this stuff out. There's another one from Google that is not high up there. Here's your Bing AI. And so this is another part of the whole hybrid thing where they put an AI into search. So big question is AI going to change search? Does Google hate it? Then that's probably maybe another episode on here on how to do that and what they think. But against Google's terms, which we always talk about, the they don't really penalize you for having AI generated stuff, but they penalize you for not having content that's geared to benefit the user, right? So if you generate something that's just like a pure, like SEO gray hat, play, they don't like that. Can you see the time left? It freezes on my side here.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minutes, great. And then here's another um, part of the Microsoft environment. And then if we get into like some search engine parts of the world, um, I, this stuff is like it's so dynamic, like coding. Like you could like write me a JavaScript for such and such, right? And it'll actually bring you back code. I think it's crazy.
Right.
My coder buddies are like, yeah, but you still have to look at it and you still have to worry about the whole ecosystem. So again, that's great for a starting point, but it's not the end of the world, right?
Exactly.
Back we start talking about code, we get into this Amazon part of it. Um, I think this is a great use for translation, right? I mean, if it's a language model, like I think translation is
Hmm.
a great use case
Yeah.
for AI, right? Um, Now you chat that was on one of our other short like 5 thing list, right? Um, on the research column, um, there's another one that's a more conversational. Now, images is a big one. I'm probably going to do a whole separate day on generating AI images, which is pretty interesting. So there's the Chat Sonic,
Jasper.
and so yeah, Jasper. I mean, there's so many. And then this one has an FAQ. So this is a couple pretty good things that we'll share um, in video and in the recording, and then I will ping you probably in chat to get your email and send you the stuff directly, and we'll schedule a one-on-one. But really, now we're down to our 2 minutes. So it gets into a bunch of stuff. Why about the ChatGPT? That's kind of how the article started, right? Was alternatives. But
Right.
there's a neat table of contents here, right?
Yeah.
So Google's got a little handful, Microsoft's got a little handful, ways to do coding, translation. So this one is pretty solid. I want to point out this last one here for people because it's got some interesting ideas. So it's called prepostseo.com, and it's got a ton of tools. They're online tools. We can kind of phrase them as AI tools, kind of, right? The two things that I like here is you can do like a plagiarism checker, right? So if you get something that you generate or you find something online, you think you just want to use it. Well, the other people, like the Googles of the world, they're looking to see if it's copied, right? Or we don't have a lot of students here, but AI arguably a great way to not do all the work you need to do your schoolwork.
All right.
One interesting thing here too in the last 20 seconds is this article rewriter. So you could take what Jasper or especially ChatGPT gave you and then rewrite it or respin it or paraphrase it right. And then you have something that doesn't get picked up and flagged as plagiarism.